name is Angela Owens with Phenomenal Business Solutions, and I help businesses streamline their finances, increase their profits, and grow their businesses. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how your expenses can help you save on your taxes. So today, the tax deductions, there's different types of tax deductions. So there's tax deductions on your personal side where you can choose whether you want to do itemized or standard deduction. But today, the tax deductions we're going to talk about is for business. That's if you have a Schedule C, it's gonna be on your personal tax expenses. And if you have an S corp or a corporation, then it's going to be on a completely separate tax return for just your business. So today we're talking about business tax deductions. These deductions are what can reduce your overall taxes. So you have to claim all your income, but your bottom line is what you actually pay taxes on. And the deductions matter for your small business. Again, you want to pay less taxes. The more expenses that you have, the less taxes that you will have to pay. And today we're going to be talking about some of the most common tax deductions. So these are some of the deductions. You can get the office supplies and equipment, travel and meals, employee wages and benefits, marketing and advertising costs. So your office supplies, it could be anything from paper to pens, copiers, equipment, like if you have laminating equipment, just anything you pretty much would use to set up your office, even your desk and software, basically anything that helps you run your office, you will be able to deduct that. Travel and meals. So meals, you only get 50% off of what you spend for meals. If you take people out to eat for a meal, you need to make sure that you keep the receipt. And I suggest that on the back of the receipt, you write down who you had a meal with, and you can put a brief description of what you guys discussed. Another thing is you could take a picture of that receipt, front and back, and upload it into your software if you're using like QuickBooks or I wonder if Wave does that, but you could also get an app that will hold all of your receipts as well. So you can just snap those receipts and put them in. So keeping the paper copy is fine, but a lot of times those receipts are on carbon paper. And so over time, they kind of fade away. So it's a really good idea to scan those receipts in when you get home or snap a picture of them and keep them in a receipt box or app or something like that. And travel, you get to deduct your travel if it's for business, and you have to make sure that it is actually a business trip. And if you decide to take a family trip along with this business trip, you have to definitely make sure that you can justify the business part of that trip. And of course, employees, as you pay them, you get to deduct that if you offer IRA matching, 401k matching or health benefits and bonuses, all of that, you get to deduct that. Marketing, if you attend events strictly for marketing, you can deduct that. That's something else that with meals, if you have to purchase a meal for a marketing event, it's possible that you can get that 100% off. And advertising, if you post on Facebook, do Google ads, put your ad in a magazine, printing, whatever. So those are some of the most common deductions. Then we have the deducting mileage for business-related travel. So if your business is where you have to drive in order to do business, you can deduct the mileage. I suggest the app called Mile IQ. But if you use QuickBooks Online, there's an app that comes with that, and you can use that to track your mileage as well. And usually you can choose, depending on the weight of your vehicle, you could choose whether you want to do mileage deduction or actual cost. And most times the actual cost, the mileage is going to be the best option. And I like to tell people who like drive for Uber or Lyft, depending on how much you made for the year, it's possible that your mileage will wash out what you made. So let's just give an example. So let's say you spend $75 to fill up your vehicle, right? And the mileage usually is about 300 miles. So if you use one, let me add this up. So one tank of gas at 300 miles times, I think it's 65 cents. Don't quote me on that because I have to look that again. That's $195 that you can deduct versus $75. So just imagine, a whole month of you driving around with Lyft and Uber about the miles that you use versus the amount of money you spent on gas and even sometimes the repairs. So mileage usually is going to be your best bet. The home office deduction. Most people have an office in their house that they have set aside for working from home. They used to require a whole separate space, but if you have an area in your home dedicated specifically for working from home, you can use that. And some people also may use like a detached garage, and they can deduct all direct expenses for that office. But if you have the office inside the home, those will be indirect expenses. So add up all the expenses that you pay, whether it's a mortgage or rent, and your utilities, your water. If you make a repair on specifically the office area, then you could deduct that as a direct deduction. Now, the home office deduction only helps you if you have a profit. If you have a net loss, you cannot claim this because you can only claim the office deduction until it brings you down to zero. So if you have a net profit of $200, but your home office deduction is about $2,000, you only get to deduct $200 of the home office deduction. So these are some special deductions that work for certain small businesses. So we have the section 179, and you can expense the whole amount of the equipment or property that you purchased. Sometimes that's beneficial and sometimes it's not. So depreciation is the other option for how you can deduct your big purchases. So if you know that you're going to be purchasing big items on an annual basis, Section 179 might help you. But if you are going to be having high income every year and you're not going to have those big expenses, you may want to depreciate so that you can kind of get some relief in the following years as your income increases. And depending on your industry type, you could also possibly qualify for research and development credits for innovation and development. Okay, so interest, you can deduct interest. Let's say that you purchase a vehicle and you have a car note and you use it for business, strictly for business. You can deduct the interest on that car loan. Also, I've mentioned vehicle expenses before, but if you have a car loan and you are deducting mileage on your taxes, you can still deduct the car loan to the car loan interest to the extent of how much you use the car for business versus personal. And in addition to car loans, of course, if you have a business line of credit or a credit card or just a business loan, like an SBA loan, you can deduct all of the interest for that. And this is going to help your cash flow because you have more money in your pocket because you pay less tax. And you want to definitely keep accurate records. Like I stated, you can download an app that will cover all of your, that will keep all of your receipts. You could use QuickBooks. I use QuickBooks, but there's a free accounting service called Wave. And for some people, if your business is simple enough, Wave should work for you. It will connect to your bank account and you can go in and categorize all of your transactions so that you can make sure that everything is accounted for. I also suggest that you use your bank account for everything, either credit card account or a bank account. That way, you have proof of all of your expenses. It's still good to keep the receipt, but in the event of an audit, if you lose the receipt, it's very possible that your bank statement showing that you paid for something to a certain vendor will be enough sufficient evidence that you had to, that is a business expense. So you want to document. So you don't want to miss out on legitimate deductions. You want to make sure you keep business and personal separate. Make sure you get a separate business, separate account. You don't have to take a payroll if you don't want to, but at least just transfer money to your personal account on a regular basis. Maybe every time you get paid, you can send yourself a certain amount of that. That way you can avoid using your business account for personal expenses. So just make a habit of every time you get a deposit into your business account that you send something to yourself. If you are an S corp or corporation, you are required to take a payroll, an actual payroll. So that should possibly help you as well with keeping your business and personal separate. And definitely keep detailed records. Like I said, document. If you have clean records, they will be able to audit a lot faster. I had someone I was trying to help some years back, and she said that the IRS wouldn't even accept her QuickBooks file because it was not up to date, and they could tell that it was just a big mess. So make sure you keep everything clean and smooth. Use a bank account for everything, and just keep it all together. So if you haven't started already, this is February, beginning of February. So hopefully you have already started making changes if you didn't do too well last year with keeping records. So this is the perfect time to start looking at getting your bookkeeping in order. You can work with a tax professional like myself, or I can help you with getting your accounting systems together. And yeah, just put it all together, keep everything straight, and I can help you with all of that. So go ahead and book your free tax preparation consultation with me at pbsllc.pro/calendar page. If you haven't already gotten your tax organizer, go to pbsllc.pro/tax organizer and follow me on social media. And I would love to work with you and have a wonderful Tuesday.